A few days ago, a tweet started going viral in Nigerian finance circles on X. Somebody asked a very simple question. How much money do you need to lock on PiggyVest to earn 100,000 naira every single day? And then somebody actually answered the question publicly. He revealed that he had locked roughly 194 million naira on PiggyVest to generate approximately 100,000 naira daily in returns. Almost immediately, the internet split into two different camps. One group believed it was a brilliant financial decision. Their argument was simple. If somebody can earn close to 100,000 naira every single day from a relatively low-risk platform without actively trading or stressing over the market, then that sounds like a smart and peaceful way to manage wealth. But another group looked at it completely differently. Their reaction was, you have 194 million naira and this is the best use of your capital? Suddenly, everybody had an opinion. Twitter started arguing, finance creators started making calculations. People who had never managed a million naira suddenly became experts on managing 194 million naira overnight. And honestly, I had thoughts too. But before I even give my opinion on this situation, I would want to do something most people reacting to this tweet did not really do. I want to be fair, because the honest truth is that we do not actually know the investor's full situation. And once you acknowledge that, the conversation becomes much more interesting and much more intelligent. Maybe this 194 million naira represents only a small percentage of his total net worth. Maybe he already had money spread across stocks, real estate, private businesses, and other investments. Why this PiggyVest allocation simply serves as his low-risk cash flow layer. Maybe he has upcoming obligations and wants the money relatively safe, stable, and accessible. Or maybe after watching Nigerians lose money through Ponzi schemes, crypto crashes, failed businesses, and all kinds of trust me investments over the years, he simply values peace of mind more than maximizing returns. And honestly, that is not stupidity. That is psychology. Because as people become wealthier, the conversation slowly changes. It stops being only about making more money and starts becoming about protecting the money that already exists. So this video is not going to be one of those shallow conversations where somebody simply says PiggyVest lock is dumb, just buy stocks. I think this topic deserves a more mature discussion than that. I want us to properly break down what this investor potentially got right, what I personally think he got wrong, the major risk almost nobody is talking about, and what a more sophisticated structure could potentially look like for somebody with 194 million naira trying to generate strong income without quietly destroying long-term wealth in the process. Now, before I start breaking down whether this strategy actually makes sense or not, I think it's important to say one thing clearly. This is not a simple smart or dumb situation, because once you are dealing with this level of capital, the decision is no longer just about returns. It becomes about structure, priorities, and what the money is actually meant to do inside a larger financial system. And that is where most online reactions miss the point. The truth is, we are not looking at enough information to judge this investor as a person, and we do not need to actually. That is not the goal here. What we can do, however, is evaluate the decision itself in isolation, because regardless of his personal circumstances, 194 million naira sitting in a single fixed yield savings structure still comes with specific trade-offs, and those trade-offs exist whether the money is 100% of his net worth or just a small portion of it. That is the real conversation. And when you frame it this way, three things become immediately more important than everything else. The first is, what is this structure actually optimized for? The second is, what it quietly sacrifices in exchange for that simplicity and predictability. And the third is whether at this level of capital, those sacrifices are still acceptable, because at 194 million naira, the question is no longer just, is it safe? The question becomes, is this the highest utility use of this capital across risk, income, and long-term growth combined? Now, once you start asking that question properly, the conversation stops being emotional and starts becoming structural. I mean, yeah, I know it's sounding complicated, but just be patient with me. I'm going to make you understand the full picture. You see, the reality is this. At 194 million naira, PiggyVest is no longer just a safe place to park money. It is a financial decision with very specific design limits. And once you understand those limits, four problems immediately show up. Not because PiggyVest is bad, but because it is being used beyond the environment it was designed for. Now, here is my first problem at its core. You see, PiggyVest is a cash management tool, not an investment vehicle. It is designed for short-term savings, emergency funds, and capital that needs to remain accessible while still earning a decent return. And in that context, it is actually very effective. But the problem starts when you scale that same tool into a long-term wealth position at 194 million naira. Because now you are no longer using it for convenience, you are using it as your primary wealth storage system. And that is where the mismatch begins to happen. A cash management tool is optimized for safety and liquidity. A wealth building strategy or tool is optimized for growth and compounding. Those are not the same thing. And when you force one tool to start doing both jobs, it usually does neither of them very, very well. My second problem revolves around the NDIC gap nobody's talking about. You see, yes, PiggyVest has a microfinance bank license, like most of us saw the news when they got it. Yes, it is regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, where most of us are aware. And yes, it falls under NDIC insurance protection. All of that is very much correct. But here's the detail that changes everything for most of you that are putting in very big money there. NDIC coverage for microfinance bank is capped at 2 million naira per depositor, which means on a 194 million naira position, only 2 million naira is effectively insured. The remaining 192 million sits completely exposed to institutional risk. Now, to be clear, this is not a prediction of failure on piggy bank or PiggyVest, application. Those guys are one of the best out there. This is a risk structure conversation because if anything operational ever goes wrong at that scale, whether it is systemic failure, fraud, or regulatory shock, insurance only covers a very small fraction of the exposure. And at 194 million naira, that gap is no longer theoretical. It is material. And PiggyVest is not a public company that you can say, okay, I understand the financial situation of the company. I mean, I've heard that they are very liquid, but for you to be able to leave that kind of money there, you need to actually understand how financially capable is this company in case anything goes wrong. The third problem is that the rate or the yield he's getting is not permanent, meaning that 100,000 or you can see 98,000 naira daily income does not exist in isolation. It is not a fixed payout that PiggyVest just decides to be giving you for locking that big money there. It is directly tied to an interest rate of about 18.5% per year. So PiggyVest is essentially saying, if you give us 194 million naira, will pay you about 18.5% of that amount per year, which is equal to around 35.89 million naira in returns. And when you break it down further across the several days of the year, that is where you now start seeing 98,000 naira in daily income, which approximates to 100,000 naira. So it is not magic, guys. It is not a special deal. It is simply a mathematical outcome of that 18.5% annual return. Now, here is where the real issue starts. That 18.5% is not a permanent guarantee. It exists because Nigeria is currently in a high interest rate environment. With the Central Bank of Nigeria's MPR, which is monetary policy rate, at 26.5%, PiggyVest, like most money markets, based instruments, earns its returns from that broader interest rate system. So what happens when that system changes? That's the question. What happens? And it will actually change. You see, when inflation stabilizes and the central bank begins to cut interest rates, the entire structure shifts downward, which means that same 194 million naira will no longer generate 98,000 naira daily. It will generate something much more less, then even less, until what feels like a stable income stream today quietly compresses into a much smaller monthly return in a different economic cycle. The fourth and final problem is that inflation quietly destroys what the number on the screen preserves. And this is the most invisible risk of all I've just talked about, because inflation erodes your wealth in a way that you cannot actually see immediately. Your balance does not disappear. Your interest still arrives. Everything looks fine on the surface, but inflation is doing something far more subtle on the inside. It is reducing what that money can actually buy. So even though 194 million naira stays 194 million naira on paper, its real world value is constantly being eroded over time, which means the danger is not loss of capital. The danger is stagnation disguised as safety. You feel protected, but in reality, you are slowly falling behind. Now, when you put all four of these together, a pattern starts to form. PiggyVest is not failing. It is simply being asked to perform a role it was never designed to play at the scale. And that distinction is what most of the internet debate completely missed. Now, let me show you what a more sophisticated structure looks like. And I want to be very clear upfront. This alternative does not pit PiggyVest in a simple 1 year outcome. PiggyVest generates approximately 98,000 naira daily. This layout or this structure I'm going to be talking about generates roughly 75,000 to 76,000 naira daily in 1 year or in year one. So yes, there is a gap, and that gap is real. But what most people miss is that you are not comparing two income streams. You are comparing two different financial systems. One is designed for a fixed, predictable yield. The other is designed for income plus growth. And over time, that difference becomes the entire story of the portfolio. Now, starting with the layer one, which is the cash flow layer, dividend stocks. You want to allocate from that 194 million naira, 60 million naira into companies like GTCO, Zenith Bank, and Seplat. Now, here's what this layer is actually doing for your portfolio. These companies pay you dividends, usually quarterly or interim, depending on the stock. So your money is actively generating cash flow for you. But at the same time, something else is happening in the background. These are all operating businesses. They grow earnings, they expand profits, and over time, your dividend does not stay flat. It increases, and the value of the shares themselves also appreciate as long as the business is doing well. So this is not just income. This is income plus ownership in growing businesses. I like to think of this layer like farming. It is not as predictable as a fixed, interest account, but if you understand what you are planting, the harvest does not stay the same every year. It grows. Now, moving over to layer two, the safe layer, talking about staggered treasury bills. We want to collect 80 million naira and spread it across the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day treasury bills. Now, this layer is not here to maximize return. Let me be very honest about that. In some cases, PiggyVest may even slightly outperform it in pure percentage yield. But that is not the point of this layer. The point of this layer is safety, structure, and control. Because treasury bills are backed by the government, and more importantly, they allow you to stagger maturities. So instead of locking all your money into one rate at one time, you create a system where something always matures, something's always maturing for you since you staggered it. So every quarter, something comes back into your account. And when it comes back, you now redeploy it at the new current market rate. So you are never trapped in yesterday's interest rate. So even if interest rate goes up, you receive your dividend and you're able to invest again at a higher rate. If it goes down, nothing bad. You still got your higher rate returns previously and you're now buying at a lower rate. I mean, it's still a win-win situation for you. And like I said, this is not about chasing yield. This is about managing risk and timing. The third layer, which is the better yield layer, revolves around commercial papers. You want to collect around 40 million naira allocated into high-quality commercial papers. Now, this is where the system starts to become more efficient for your portfolio because instead of going through retail savings platforms, you are now accessing corporate credit directly on platforms like Get Equity. There are verified deals offering between 24 to 28% per annum. Get Equity, if you don't really like the platform because I think they are pursuing their license, you can also leverage on your own brokerage like AfriInvest or whatever brokerage firm that you use for your investments. And the beautiful thing is that commercial papers yield from 22% to up to even 28%. So you're getting better yields than maybe keeping it in a normal savings account or locking up your money on PiggyVest. Then finally, we have the growth layer, which is talking about looking for asymmetric upside. Now, this final piece is where most people either ignore or misunderstand what is supposed to be inside of it. 40 million naira goes into asymmetric opportunities. This could be NASD listed companies. It could be pre-listing positions. It could be early stage public to private transitions. It could be even in my startup called Affirmatrix, which we're about to launch. I mean, you're looking for asymmetric positions or companies that you believe in their leaders and that you believe could become something over time. This layer is not about income today. It's about capital expansion over time. Because the real difference between wealth preservation and wealth building is not income. It is whether your capital base is growing or not. Now, let us step back because in year one, PiggyVest clearly wins on simplicity and slightly higher daily income. And that is just the truth when it comes to comparing what I have built out to PiggyVest. But something important happens as time progresses. In year three, the picture starts to shift. PiggyVest income begins to compress as interest rate falls. Dividend income begins to rise as companies grow their earnings. Commercial papers cycles through new higher opportunities, and the equity base itself appreciates. So what looked like a gap in the first year starts to close, and then reverses, because PiggyVest keeps your 194 million naira stable. But this layer structure does something different. It grows the base. So you're no longer just asking, how much am I earning today? You're asking more important questions. How much is my capital base worth in 3 years? And when you look at it that way, the conclusion becomes very, very different for you. Because over a 3-year horizon, the layered approach does not just generate income, it creates additional wealth for you. So at this point, the real question is no longer whether PiggyVest is good or bad. The question is this: are you optimizing for predictable income today, or are you building a system that increases both your income and your capital base over time? And depending on your answer, both strategies can make sense. Depends on your answer, like I said, but they are not the same thing. So guys, now I would love to hear from you. If you had 194 million naira today, how would you structure it? Would you keep it simple in something like PiggyVest and just enjoy the predictable income, or would you build a layered system like the one we discussed in this video? Drop your answers in the comment section. I actually want to see how different people think about this. I'll be watching. And if you enjoyed breakdown like this, do well to smash the like button and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. We talk about finance. And don't forget to join my WhatsApp channel. Link is in the description and pinned comments. I like to share real-time market updates, what's going on in my head. I run polls as well. And until next time, my colleagues, don't forget to stay sharp, stay safe, and invest wisely. Deal.